My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of seasons 1 and 2 of Afterlife. Now, I'm a huge fan of Ricky Gervais. I think the guy is absolutely hilarious. He cracked me up every single time he hosted the Golden Globes. I love the fact that he's willing to go to those places, and I love the fact that he's willing to call Hollywood out when no one else will. And when I heard that he had a show that he was directing, producing, and starring in, I was just like, okay, I gotta check this out. And it's a decent show. I think he does a really good job in it. He's able to walk that fine line between insufferable asshole and snarky funny dude really well. Like, you understand why everyone in the show kind of hates him in moments, but at the same time, you're constantly entertained by the things that he does and say. And he's able to make you laugh with him, but also able to make you feel bad for him when needed. So I think he does a good job walking that fine line throughout. And the scenes where he needs to show a wide range of emotions, he's able to pull off the task. The supporting cast I found to be lacking, just nobody else really stands out in any way. Like, there's a few characters that you like Ricky Gervais's relationship with. Like, there's a woman on the bench, there's a sex worker, there's a drug addict, there's a postman. And when he's interacting with those characters, you're just like, okay, that is nice. But whenever they're not on screen, it doesn't feel like the show's ever missing anything. And for just a show with this many supporting characters and for almost all of them to just not stand out in any way, it's just a bummer. Like, when you watch The Office, it's just not a great show because of Michael Scott and Jim and Pam. It's a great show because of Stanley and Oscar and Creed and Kevin and Dale. Just everyone in that show makes it what it is. And you just don't get that here. And the weird thing about that is that the show starts off and there's a new girl starting at his workplace. And I'm like, okay, she's gonna be a main character. But she really isn't. In fact, she's given very little to do. And I like the character. I think the actress does a fine job, but she's given no material to work with. There are moments where I found this show funny, just mainly due to Ricky Gervais's delivery. There's one scene where he's at a comedy show and the guy's making a bunch of jokes and he just finds a way to make the guy feel bad about himself. And it actually reveals a lot about his character because everybody else is laughing and having a good time and he just made it about himself. So even though it's a very funny and awkward moment, it's revealing about how selfish his character is. But at the same time, you understand why he is that way and you do sympathize with him. You do feel bad for him. And there are a few moments where I did find this show hit those emotional beats it needed to. But that all said, this is a very one-note, repetitive show. It always begins with Ricky Gervais's character watching a video of his dead wife, and then he goes to work. On the way there, he interacts with the postman. He gets to work, he says a few funny things, then they do a newspaper journalism thing. Yes, that is what that job is known as. And then he goes to talk to the sex worker, he goes to talk to the drug addict, and then he goes to talk to this woman on the bench, and then he goes back home at the end of the episode and watches more videos of him and his wife. And literally every single episode is like that. I can't understand if this show wants to be a workplace comedy like The Office, or if it's trying to be this deep, meditative look at life through this man who lost his wife. And I just don't know which one it's trying to be. Because the fact that this is a show, and just the setting of the show, I feel like it wants to be this funny workplace comedy, but then it's also trying to be more than that. But then you still got that episodic approach to it, to the point where every single beat is rinse and repeat, to the point where by the last episode of season 2, I'm just like, I feel like I've already seen this episode. Even though the events in this episode are different, just the order of locations is, I'm certain, always the same. The order of events is always the same. It's very one note. And then the boss is always just like, lots of people are going through their own shit. And he says that so many times to the point where I'm like, I get it. Everybody's going through stuff. We know. Do you have anything else to say about that topic? And he never does. So it's just like lots of the same lines are repeated. Lots of the same plot points are repeated. I feel like this should have been a movie about a man who lost his wife, who's trying to get on as normal, but he just can't bring himself to, while still delivering sharp comedic delivery. that could be a movie. But as a show, it's just way too long. There's just not enough substance here for a show. And it doesn't even embrace the episodic approach because it's trying to be more than your average comedy. So if you're trying to be more than that, then you can't go back down to the episodic approach. You know, we watch a show like, what's the show? Seinfeld, one of my favorite TV shows ever. Almost every single episode follows a certain story structure, but I'll never complain because Seinfeld has never tried to be more than what it is. It knows what it is, it embraces it, and I'm happy with that. This show doesn't seem to know what it wants to be, and because of that, it just ends up being a little messy. Look, there is some good here though. Ricky Gervais does do a great job in this show. There are a few moments that do hit the emotional beats they're trying to. There are some funny moments, and I do like it whenever Ricky Gervais is going on a rant about something. And I do like the relationships he forms with certain characters. But the supporting characters, for the most part, were just completely lacking. The show is very one-note, it's repetitive. By the end of season 2, I'm just like, I don't know what else this show can offer me. I feel like I've seen everything that it has to already. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and give both seasons of Afterlife 1 and 2 a 6 out of 10. Okay, have you watched Afterlife? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.